Hello, everybody. Welcome to A/B testing, or because we all deserve vacation, today it's just A testing. Bianca is taking a much well-deserved break, so it'll just be me today. But we have a guest joining us in a few moments. We'll be joined by one of my favorite Twilions, Elmer. We're going to be doing some AI builds. He's so much fun to watch build, and the way that he builds is super cool too, using different AI in just very unique ways to help him. So I'm super excited to bring Elmer on in a little bit. Hey everybody, my mic is a bit low. Is it because I'm not close enough, or do I need to do that? Is that better? I don't know what's going on there. Wait, let me check that my mic is on the right mic. Because sometimes audio gets switched. The same. It's probably about the same right there. Or how are we doing? Chat, what do we got going on? Is my mic a little better now? Still quiet. I don't know why that is. Bump the gain a bit. Okay, my gain's actually maxed out now. How's that? How am I doing? Gain's full. We feeling good now? Doobie-doobie-doo. I'll sing a little bit. Better. Okay. Hopefully that works. We'll figure it out. I'll move this even closer. I'll do the whole deep podcasting thing where I'm just in it. Sweet. Well, anyways, but before we bring this on, I just have something I'm so excited about. I, as of today, released my brand new show. The gain is actually in the mic settings, not the slider. Cool. We'll work on that a little bit later because I don't know how to do that offhand. So we'll go there. But anyways, I have this new show, so I'm gonna bring on a little trailer for you, and then we'll share a link for you to check it out. But I am so excited to introduce you all to Twilio Update, my bi-weekly news show that we'll be launching starting today on Twilio YouTube. So here's that trailer. Whoopsies. And welcome to Twilio Update. Hi, I'm Alex, and welcome to Twilio Update, your bi-weekly look at what's new with Twilio and the awesome things being created with our tech. Every 2 weeks, we'll bring you the latest from the Twilio ecosystem, fresh releases, features you need to know about, and deep dives into new products. But this isn't just about updates and demos. It's about the builders, the people creating amazing things with Twilio's technology.
Look, the most important thing is to be curious.
SMS allows people to forget that there is a UI between us.
They want somebody to understand where they're coming from and sort of work at their level.
They don't have a smartphone, but there's some patients that just want to speak on the phone.
This is the place that I need to be.
And to be sure you never get FOMO, we'll keep you in the loop on what's coming next, from events to releases to community projects. Join us every other week for Twilio Update. We can't wait to see what you build next. I am so proud of that show. Thanks, Brent, for being my executive producer. Is my sound a little better? I think I increased the gain, but I'm not sure. But you guys can let me know. I'm so excited for that show. We'll drop a link in just a second to do that. Actually, I'll get that ready right now. I should have had that ready beforehand, but things happened. Launching a show and being on the same day, that's a choice. But I made that choice. Because then I get to tell all you about my launches every week. But here is that link. One moment, copying, moving over, bam. So if you want to check out Twilio Update, you want to hear all about the latest news and updates on Twilio, that's where to go. So now, without further ado, I'm going to bring on Elmer to join me here. Hello, Elmer.
Hello. How are you?
I'm doing great. I got my show launch today. I'm super excited about it.
Me too.
And yeah, thank you so much. So before we'll get into a segment in a second, but how long have you been with Twilio/SendGrid?
Ooh, that's let's see, maybe about 14 years. I think this might be 15 in April.
So you joined in 2010, 2011-ish?
Yeah, 2009, I believe.
Oh, 2009.
So that
Okay.
was like, right before the 10s.
There you go. So circa 2009, 2010 chat, where were you? I want to know. I was working at my first job out of college in Phoenix, Arizona. I was in the data center business. I was building data centers. That was what I was doing. And I'm just thinking about like my whole career from now to then, and I'm like, it's wild that you've been doing cool stuff, but with the same, on the same thing for so long. That's amazing. Chef Brent was still at Lutron. That reminds me of Lumen from Severance. So I hope you still have your whole brain together, Chef Brent. But yeah, cool. So Elmer, I want to we start our show with sponsored, not sponsored usually, where we like talk about something that we're excited about or like a product. I actually forgot to grab mine off the shelf, but I've got it ready. Today, I'm going to recommend a comic book. I decided I'm going to start doing books more.
Nice.
This is a very bizarre comic book. This one's called The Inkal. If anybody is a big fan of sci-fi and happened to watch a documentary called Jodorowsky's Dune, it was about like around the time Star Wars came out. So like, a while ago, this guy, Jodorowsky, was going to make Dune into a movie. Obviously, we have a great Dune movie now, which is fun, but it was going to make Dune into a movie, and it turned into this giant production that was going to be like, the script called for it to be like 7 hours, and he refused to cut any of it. It's a really cool documentary called Jodorowsky Dune. So much other sci-fi art and work has spread from this, but basically when he wasn't able to make the movie, he and the comic book writer Moebius, I can't pronounce his name, a French guy, made this comic book based on that. And it's a wild ride. It's a really cool world that they create. It's not the story of Dune by any means, but it's got some of the elements of it in it, which is kind of cool. So that's mine. But what do you got for us today, Elmer?
Yes, today I thought I'd talk a little bit about some kind of augmented reality, starting from when I was a Google Glass explorer, and now using these Meta Ray-Ban glasses.
Ooh, let's zoom in on you. So you've got those going right now, the Meta Ray-Bans.
Yes, yes. But I'm not recording. If I was doing that, you'd see a light. And
we are recording, so you're good.
Nice. Perfect. Yes. I love these glasses. I was able to win them at an internal hackathon where we were working on Twilio AI assistants. And that was an amazing experience. And the glasses have been lovely.
I'm a little bitter because I came in second in that hackathon.
Oh no! Well, you shouldn't be bitter because you're incredible, and you have a new show.
Yeah, exactly. Sweet. Yeah, and you told me that you were actually like a Google Glass user back in the day.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. What was that experience like? Because I feel like now people are a little more used to these kind of things, but what was that like back? I mean, that was probably almost 10 years ago now that came out.
Yeah, it was really tricky. There was lots of situations where folks were very uncomfortable with being recorded and thinking that at all times I was recording everything. But the real truth about that is the battery would get really hot like after a few minutes, and maybe you'd get 2 minutes of recording before it just died. But it was really nice for taking quick pictures and small recordings. I think my favorite thing was the translations. So like you could see a sign in another language and it would translate it to English on the fly. That was pretty cool. But the issue there is connectivity. At the time I was experimenting between using Android and an iPhone, and the connectivity with the iPhone, which at the time was my daily driver, was not very good. And then my Android phone, the battery exploded, and so that was not ideal. I still haven't fixed it. I got the parts, and one day I think I might revisit. I don't know.
That'd be a fun project. And I'm guessing these Metas are much better. The glasses.
Well, for certain things, it doesn't have the augmented screen, so I can't see things. Like one of the things I enjoyed was directions. When you're walking with Google Glass and you have the directions right there in front of you, it's very easy to follow. You don't have to have your phone out. It's just right there. for this one, it's very good for assisting other people. Like if you're in a Be My Eyes type situation, I think that works well. Although, the battery life is always a challenge. I mean, to put them in a form factor like this to me is incredible because, the battery life is relatively good, lasts a few hours, especially with things like audio.
I can also imagine because I mean, you've got how many, you have how many children do you have? 2 or 3?
3 children.
3 children.
Yes.
A little older than mine, but there's just moments where I'm finding my phone. She's doing something really cute. It'd be kind of nice to just be grab it, take it without having to add that phone layer. Because as soon as I take my phone out, she wants it as well. So that's a whole nother thing.
Yes, it's beautiful. I think the thing I miss about the Google Glass was the ability to wink and take a picture, because that's, it doesn't take much to go like this, but it's even faster just to wink.
That's so weird.
See, look how fast you are.
You just get in trouble for winking at people and all these random pictures of people showing up on your thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, don't connect that to your live feed.
There you go. Sweet. So today, in a little bit, we're gonna get into a build where we're gonna build some stuff with AI, specifically with Conversation Relay. But before we do that, I want to talk a little bit about how have you used AI in your personal life? Do you have any fun examples of things that you've built or ways that you've used these tools?
Yes. One of my favorite ways is as a coach. So if I'm needing some coaching, say at the gym, and I don't want to have a book with the checklist and a pre-play plan, I can simply create a coach in advance and load it up with some historical data, tell it how I'm feeling. And once I get there, as I'm working, talk to it and get feedback real time. That's one of my mainstays. But just this past weekend, I was playing with Conversation Relay with the Owl Shoes demo, and I tweaked it so that I can be able to accept Girl Scout cookie orders for our middle child. And that was an incredible experience. I had so much fun building upon the Conversation Relay. All the work those folks have put into that product is simply incredible, especially how you can interrupt and kind of throw some curveballs to it and it'll still get the order right in the end is incredible to me. And the fact that it can change languages, and it's just really an incredible thing to build with. And plus, knowing that many folks, they prefer to use voice as their communication channel, or they may prefer text. And I love the ability to be able to service them however they like to be serviced. Maybe they prefer WhatsApp, so I love that Twilio offers all of those abilities to be able to connect with our people.
Yeah, it's super great. And I just love the ability to be omni-channel. I think that is such a key, and that is such look, Twilio bought SendGrid years ago, and that's why you're here today, because we want it to be more omni-channel, right? Having that ability to communicate truly across channels and use AI on all of them is super cool. I feel like I saw a picture that you shared where you fill a U-Haul with Girl Scout cookies. Are you is your family a top seller in the area? How many are you selling? I don't know that much about Girl Scout cookies, so I'm just curious where that's gone.
Yes. You can obviously tell by having a large truck of cookies that we love Girl Scouts, and we like to support how we can. And we've gotten lucky over the past few years. I think it's been 6 years that Audrey, our oldest, was able to sell over 5,000 boxes. And then now she's passed the torch to Chelsea, who's now a Brownie Girl Scout, and she's shooting for 5,000 for the second time in a row. It's this year actually 5,500. And yes, it is difficult. And I have to give a lot of credit to Twilio. When we first were acquired, the way I earned this jacket was creating a series of apps to help us with managing those communications. And so I'm really excited on up-leveling those with the new tools that we have with all this AI infusion and the ability to create kind of that unified profile and have a really tight person-to-person and customizable experience. Super exciting.
Does that mean you can know what somebody ordered last year and help them figure it out for next year? That's
the beautiful thing. I was playing around with showing some old orders of Thin Mints and Caramel Delights, and then the conversation relay agent was able to say, "We saw that you bought some Thin Mints before. Would you like to have some more?"
Robertables in chat wants some Thin Mints, and he wants them right now. So maybe you can help him. We'll
Nice.
see.
That's
Is there,
beautiful.
what's your favorite? I want to know what your favorites are too. So we got Thin Mints from Robertables. What's your favorite, Elmer? I'm sure you eat a lot of these.
Well, unfortunately, my favorite doesn't exist anymore, but it might come back. It's called the Thanks a Lot. I
Okay.
love that cookie. It looks like the lemonade, except it has chocolate on the bottom rather than the lemon frosting.
Ooh, that does sound really nice.
And I miss that one a lot. Hopefully they'll bring it back.
Yeah. So yeah, Robertables. Chef Ren says the samosas caramel delights. I agree. I bought a box this weekend. I was biking around with my daughter and was like, "Oh, Girl Scout cookies, great!" And I went straight for the Samoas, the caramel delights. Those are my
Nice.
favorite too. Thin Mints right out of the freezer, says Robertables. That's a solid move. Whoop. Oh wait, Brent also likes s'mores, and those went away. And then yeah, Thin Mints right out of the freezer. So, oh, they're going away. So they're still here now. Okay. Oh yeah, Girl Scout s'mores. Cool.
Yes, that's another sad departure.
Yeah. This is amazing to me. I looked it up yesterday, and like, you're talking about millions and millions of dollars that this raises for Girl Scouts of America, which is kind of crazy. Like, this is a huge money
It's
driver.
incredible.
Yeah.
It is incredible. I love what they do for the young women. My oldest daughter, Audrey, who is now studying for computer engineering, she credits her her excitement over tech to those early Girl Scout camps where they did underwater robotics and they did drone camp and things like that. And it kind of gave her the spark that she could actually be a part of that community and create things. And now she actually helps others create. And so, of course, we're super proud of her for that. And yeah, I'm a real big believer in the program. Lucky that both of my daughters are able to participate. And I would just say for folks that really want to get some cookies and I'm not around, please support your local Girl Scouts, especially if you see them in front of a store or out there knocking door to door. It means a lot, especially if they look you in the eye and they ask you specifically. That's a beautiful moment. And we would definitely appreciate your support however you can help.
There you go. So CTA, support your local Girl Scout org by getting some yummy, yummy cookies. Yeah. Sweet.
That's beautiful.
Do you guys now, Elmer, is this kind of like, do you guys eat a lot of Girl Scout cookies in your house too? Or is it kind of like don't get high on your own supplies type thing and you guys try to limit it?
We definitely try to limit, but it's a very difficult thing to do because they are delicious. They do have a pre-sale meeting where there's like a buffet of Girl Scout cookies where you can get primed, and I try to let that stretch for a little bit. But every once in a while, I have to open a bag of caramel chocolate chips for myself, trying to stay a little bit healthier and remove some of the gluten. But
those are gluten free.
Yes, it's
the one that sounds great.
Yeah, they're fantastic. I personally like them. I do love the Caramel Delights too, but that's too dangerous for me. I have no discipline. I open it and it's all done. It's over, and I have to run many miles.
Robertables is now suggesting a Girl Scout cookie fight, which would be awesome. You know what? I bet that they would support that because you need many, many boxes to throw. So like, I think that's a great way to support your organize a cookie fight with Girl Scout cookies. Support your local Girl Scout org.
Yes, lots of interesting
a beer pairing with Girl Scout cookies. That does sound fun too.
I have seen that. Yes.
Okay. Nice. Cool. That's awesome. I love that you're a part of that. That's super inspiring, and it helped you build something too. Now, I'm going to set a little precursor, and we're going to get into coding very soon. But you told me about a way of coding called doc-driven development.
Yes.
And you're on the docs team, so that kind of makes sense. Yes. But what can you define docs-driven development for me and explain a little bit about it? And then from there, maybe we'll jump into writing some code.
Absolutely. It came to me when we were trying to refactor the SendGrid helper libraries, we had to refactor across 7 different languages. And I do have experience in the different languages, but not much depth in a lot of them. And I wanted to make sure that what we were building was as useful as possible to each different community. We didn't want like a blanket approach. And to do that, I had to enlist the very generous help of our open source community. And the way we went about that was to first start with a README and define what the interfaces would be. Like how would people expect the actual API calls to behave and what would be useful for them, and then put that out to the community and have the community have a healthy debate. Some of them got a little testy, but at the end, I think that we created something that was useful for the community. And of course, since it was open source, it's not difficult to fork it and modify if you need, or contribute back. So I really love that method because it allows folks that are not developers as well to be able to provide some feedback. It's kind of like thinking about putting together like a good PRD or something, but a very lightweight version of that, so that everyone's on the same page and everyone has a chance to have their voice heard. And so that's what I'm hoping that we can do today. We'll start with a README and kind of brainstorm a little bit on what we're going to build and flesh it out, and go from there.
I really like that because it sets a great precedent of like just being clear about your requirements, which I guess that's pretty much what it is. But you also tried to make it very collaborative, right? Like you opened it up to open source communities. You wanted external input. You really thought through how everyone could get involved with that. And I think that that's, we spend so much time kind of just inside our own heads or like inside the company being like, what are we going to build? How are we going to build it? I love that you decided to get out there and just like open it up to the people who cared to give comment and feedback. That's pretty cool. And yeah, I was always told that I should do test driven development and never did because I don't like writing tests, but I could get behind some what do we just call it? I don't know. Doc driven development. I like that because write it out first. And then you don't have to do the docs later too. That's nice. Sweet. Do you want to pull up your screen? Are you ready to just start writing some stuff?
Yes, we could do that. And just a quick shout out to the docs team. One of the best teams I've ever worked on. And I'm just super lucky to be on that team. And so just quick shout out to them. Thank you.
Who do you want to shout out on the docs team? Do you want to give them all? Oh, that's me. You don't want me.
Yes.
Do you want to give all your docs team friends some shout outs? What do we got?
Yes, I would love to. So we have our fearless leader, Carly, and her fearless leader, Jen. And we have alongside of us, we have Maria and Anna Maria. And we have a couple of new folks. We have Tony and we have Andrea as well. And we're also growing our team. So keep a lookout for that if you want to work with some incredible folks that are really passionate about helping developers and creating a beautiful experience for them. I think you would enjoy interfacing with our team and our work.
Your team is great. I have the pleasure of every once in a blue moon seeing Carly because she also lives in the Denver area. So I get to see her at in-person events every once in a while, and it's always a pleasure.
Very cool.
Actually fun. I don't know if I've told you this, and I don't know how many people on stream will get this, but that's fine. The last time we went to an in-person event, I was chatting with Carly, and I had 2 separate people, both named Scott, come up to me and asked if I was Wade. Wade's another guy who's on one of the docs teams who's been around for a long time, and he also is I think he's a little bit taller, and he's got a beard. So people just assumed that some tall guy with a beard talking to Carly must be Wade. It was just funny that like it was two guys with the same name. Both of them are like, "Hey, I'm Scott. Are you Wade?" And then like 3 minutes later, it happened again. "Hey, I'm Scott. Are you Wade?" It's pretty weird.
That Wade is one of my favorite humans as well. I would be remiss if I didn't mention the docs platform team. The reason why the docs are so fast and work so well is courtesy of the platform team. We recently split into a couple of different teams, and their team is a bit larger, but I adore their work. If you go to the docs, you see how snappy it is, and that's all them. And so shout out to them as well.
Yeah, we had Dpro on, who's
that's awesome.
a big contributor, and he gave a really
Yes.
great. It was such a good talk about how to build things and how to think through things from like both the usability and the like end user space. And then just to clear things up from Robertables, it was not the same Scott, but both Scotts had the same job title and were on the same team. It was weird. It was a strange moment. So that's there. Cool. Sweet. Are you ready? Should we pull up your screen, Elmer? Are you ready to jump in?
Absolutely.
Cool. Let's make that a little bigger. I don't know if you can do that in there, just like Control Plus or whatever. Stephen Nick says the recent changes to docs have been a breath of fresh air, in my opinion. Took a second to get used to some changes, but all welcome. Totally, I agree. They're great.
For some reason, it's control. Command equal.
Command equal. That doesn't make sense to me. Give us one more, and then I think we're good to go.
There we go.
Beautiful. That's great.
Hopefully
if anyone has
that's
trouble seeing that,
good.
let us know. Yeah. Ooh, Craig's sending you some hearts, Elmer.
Oh, thank you, Craig. We miss you, of course. And you're always doing excellent stuff. I wish I can keep up with all of your stuff. It's
I know.
Truly incredible.
Craig does a lot. I really appreciate it.
For sure.
We're happy he joins us on stream sometimes. Sweet. Okay. So we're going to start by writing a README.
Yes. So today, the plan is conversation relay and some Twilio AI assistance for a use case. And you have the dev phone, so we'll be
Yes.
able to make some voice calls.
Yeah.
So let's see. We're going to do you have and just so the folks know here, I have shared my workspace with Alex so that we can collaborate together. And I just learned that we could do this a couple of days ago, and thank you, Alex. This is incredible. That's interesting. So I can't see the changes on my. Oh, you just deleted them.
I just deleted it.
Yeah. That's fantastic. Okay, so then let's see. So we're going to do some conversation relay, and then we're going to do some Twilio AI assistance.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's get that stuff queued
We're
up.
gonna clone someone's repo for the conversation relay stuff, right?
Yes.
Cool. Let me pull that up, and then we can pull it there. Anyways, I also another shout out to Craig, because he had so many great ideas, and one of them that I loved was Craig used to start every demo. He'd have a README written, and he'd go through the README and check stuff off as it goes. I loved that. I love that style. I haven't been able to replicate it, but I thought that was like such a nice little move.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've definitely seen that with Craig, and it's beautiful. Love that experience. All right.
I'm gonna share this. All right, I'm gonna share that link in chat here. So if anyone wants to, and he stole that from Venkat. So we're all learning from each other. I'm glad that. Here is the blog post that we're going to be working from for Conversation Relay. Cool. So if anyone wants to follow. Oh, hey, RJ. Welcome back. We're just building some stuff with Conversation Relay. Yeah. So, do you want to pull? I'll pull that blog post up for us, and we can follow it along just to show you guys what it looks like. So, sweet. Voice AI, building voice bots with Twilio's Conversation Relay. This was written by, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but a Twilion. But he's got a whole repo here, so definitely check this one out. He talks about why Conversation Relay is so cool. He links to the announcement post, and specifically, it's his repository is what we're going to be cloning, I believe, right?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes. If you scroll down a little bit more, there's some bash scripting there.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll go ahead and clone that.
Sweet. I'm going to switch back to your screen. There we go.
I'm going to go back
Here's
over
that
there.
repo if anyone wants to follow along.
And let's go ahead and install that.
I love that we like don't, you know, I love there's just sample repos. You can just get started so fast. It's so nice.
It is very incredible. I was just thinking the other day how long it would have taken me to try and create this from scratch, and to be able to create something in a few hours that actually worked was very incredible to me and very encouraging. I hope you all have the same experience.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're going to need to create ourselves an Airtable. So one of the cool things that I love about this particular demo is that all the configuration happens in Airtable, making it much more accessible for folks that prefer to work in an Airtable interface. And obviously, Airtable has a lot of flexibility. You can create very customizable views depending upon who's using it and what they need to use it for. So we'll need to do that first. And let's go ahead and spin up an Airtable for that.
He has a sample too. I don't know if you can just copy that.
Yes.
So just so
yes,
everyone else
there's
can see
actually
what I'm looking at. In that blog
yes.
post, there's this sample, which you could then copy to your own base and then make your own base wherever you need it to go. So that is there. But now you guys get to see all my Airtables, you know. But I'll bring you back. I love Airtable too. I feel like it's the easiest way to spin up a super quick database that is not just a super quick database, but something that like you can really quickly have an API interface to. I use it for demos all the time. It's just I at one point was helping out at a hackathon and I told a team to use Airtable, and another Twillion was like, that was kind of cheating. I was like, I'm sorry, but it's like, it's just the easiest way to get a database working. But cool. Do you got that Airtable? Do you need me to create it? How are we doing, Elmer?
Yes, I've got it. I'm going to grab a API key, but I'll hold that off for a second. Let me continue on with the tutorial here.
Yeah.
1 moment.
Here, I can pull it up on my screen too, so that we can.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much.
So that we can,
okay.
I can run through it, and you don't have to keep switching back and forth. But hey, we got some people eating lunch. Let us know what you're eating. I just had half of a corned beef sandwich. It was very good. Curious what everyone else is eating for lunch. You can't cheat in a hackathon. It's all about getting a working demo or a demo that looks like it's working. That's another thing I've done. All right, we've got some. Wait. If I tell you what I'm eating, it'll sound like a sponsorship. Not sponsored, Brent. Not sponsored, but that's okay. We got bulgogi fried rice. Ooh, there you go, Craig. Get after it. We got some pub style chicken pot pies. Yeah, nice. RJ, you're in London. Is it dinner time for you? Yeah. A partial leftover rotisserie chicken, jalapeno chips, guac, pineapple on the side. Get after it, Steven. There you go. Brent's eating a factor meal. There. Pot roast and mashed potatoes. This is amazing. I'm glad we're all eating on screen. So you copied, did you get everything into your environment variable?
Not yet. I'm working on that part now.
Cool. Yeah, that's
you.
one of the things that we try to do is not expose too many credentials on screen. I think at one point Bianca and I sang a song about that. But we we'll put all that in an environmental variable file, or wait, I can actually, do I want to do that? Wait, hold on. Sorry, you guys are seeing my manic browsing. So here's this. He has in here an environmental.example file. So this is where you would put your account SID, your auth token, your Twilio phone number. If you have a set server for ngrok, you'd put it in here. OpenAI keys. So this is basically where you put all of your secrets. And we don't want to share our secrets with you because we like all of you on chat, but I don't think that's necessary. So Elmer's setting up his environment file. I never know. I feel like I was like filming something and wasn't sure if it was like environmental or environment variables, but it goes there. And Andrew, what are you sharing about John Papa VS Code? I'm very curious now, but I'm also scared to go to that website just offhand. Environment variables. Got it. That's how you pronounce them. So in this build, we'll clone the environment, we'll get Airtable set up, we'll get our environment variables populated, and then we're going to use ngrok to expose the port for our web server that'll handle all of our web sockets. It's a VS Code extension to hide variables. That's good. I
love that.
I thought it was a weird pizza thing because we were just talking about food and John Papa sounds a lot like Papa John's. So it goes.
Okay.
But yeah, let me know when you're ready to come back on, Elmer.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
No worries.
Twilio.
So yeah, you got your example one up.
Stream. Okay. One moment. I'm going to make sure that I have the right base here. It's under
Better
experiments.
Better go, John's Papa. There you go. I think you just came up with their John's Papa is a cool dude, unrelated to Papa John's. Yeah. Weird story. I once met Jimmy John, like the Jimmy John, like the sandwich guy. I was at a University of Illinois football game when Michigan went to go play him, and he was there because he's a big University of Illinois guy. But nice dude. It's always funny when there's like an actual person behind it all. Yeah.
Okay. Then we also need our base ID.
You know what, Chef Brent? I don't remember what Jimmy John smelled like. I'm sorry. But I wish I did. That'd be funny if it was like very pungent. No, Danny DeVito does Jersey Mike's. You're getting your sub franchises mixed up, Steven. I'm sorry, but that is not quite right. But yeah, I forgot if his name was Jimmy or John, or he goes by Jimmy John, but I met him. It would be slightly creepy if I did know what he smelled like, but we're talking about free smells. So, so it goes. Wait, Andrew wants to know do they not have Jimmy John's in Canada? Jimmy John's is like a sandwich shop that, say, on par with like a Subway style thing. I like it a little better, but that's me. Cool. So, that's being rude to Jimmy John. Anyways, cool. So you got ngrok up and running. Do you have your Airtable up?
Yes, I've added the API key, and
Sweet.
let me put a link.
Yeah, if you share it with me, I can share the Airtable up too.
The README. There.
Oh yeah, that's how you create an Airtable token.
Yes.
Not always trivial, so I'll throw that in Slack too.
And then we have our base ID, and then we're running ngrok. So continuing alongside the tutorial here, the next step is that we want to run the actual server. So we're going to create a different terminal for that. Let's go ahead and Let's see. Where is it? Oh, there it is. All right.
Yeah, when everything's zoomed in, it's harder to see things.
We are going to.
Is this real, Stephen? That Ireland said that Subway can't call their bread anymore? I'm gonna verify that. Oh, it had too much sugar. There you go. RJ says yes, it is. So if you're in Ireland, I don't know if it's all the UK or just Ireland, or I guess only part of Ireland's there, but yeah, that's so funny that I mean, Germany's like that way with beer too, where they're like very strict about like what you can call beer, or at least they used to be. I think they've gotten a little more mellow, but cool. So we've got ngrok running on one and you got your server on the other. So what's this? Can you explain what this, I guess we'll get there, but I'd love to hear what this is actually doing.
Yes. Okay. So first, what we have here is we have we're running the server from this repo, and then we're exposing that server to the internet using ngrok. And so the next thing that we need to do is run this Twilio CLI command to update our phone number so that when we receive inbound requests to our app, that it'll be routed to the phone number that we supply. And it will be, in this case, for this demo, it's going to be routing directly to my computer using ngrok. But if you wanted to, of course, bring this to production, you're going to want to choose a server that can handle WebSockets. In this case, we are recommending fly.io, but you can modify that to your particular needs. We have some great examples also of using AWS. But for this demo, what we're going to do is use ngrok locally. And so I think for this next command, I'm going to need to attach it to the dev phone number, correct? I'm not quite sure.
No, I think it's your from number.
My from number.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, one moment.
For sure.
Here.
And let me know if you want me to hide your screen for that one. I don't know.
Okay, let me.
We're gonna see it on the dev phone, so it's gonna pop up anyways. But it's a Twilio number. That would be going. Yeah. So we're. Yeah, I love that this particular. I love that this just gave the command to set it up with the Twilio CLI. So it's like one line and your whole, you don't need to go into the Twilio console to do stuff. I actually appreciate that. And I think that's something that I want to do more at another time. So would be good to hear more about why Fly.io were recommended. It's the first time I've ever heard of it. I don't know why Fly.io was recommended. That was this was a suggestion by whoever wrote this. So we'll have to get back to you on that. I think it was just maybe the tool that they thought worked really well for this. I know WebSockets are a little weird, so it might have just been the tool that allows you to do WebSockets pretty easily. I don't know. Let's go check out Fly.io and see. What do we got? A public cloud built for developers who ship. Okay, wait. I think one of our last, I feel like it was either Noah or Kano talked about this. So Robertable says it's more approachable than raw AWS, or it might be. So that could be why. I remember one of them talking about it, and it kind of is like a Heroku, but you can do a little bit more with like WebSockets and things like that. So yeah, public cloud infrastructure. This seems like a really great prototyping tool for getting something online, or kind of like an MVP tool, or I've heard people call them MLPs, minimum lovable product too, which I really like. Better DX for running certain apps. That would be my guess, RJ, but I don't know that for a fact. And I don't think we're going to be using it here because we're going to do it all locally. Yeah. Cool. Let's see what Elmer's. I'm going to bring back on your screen back on stage. Elmer, you good?
Yes, I just need to add in a few more environment variables.
Right, I'll let you keep doing that, and we'll do there. Andrew says Fly.io is way better DX if you love console, but Railway is better all around. Ooh. What's Railway? Let's find out. Whoop, wrong place. Railway. I feel like that's not going to give me the thing I want. Is it like cloud? Railway cloud. Let's see if that works there. I bet there's, we've got, if we still have Craig on, I bet there's some ways to do this kind of stuff on Cloudflare as well. This is it. Shipping great products is hard. Scaling infrastructure is easy. So yeah, that's another way to do it. Heroku going megacorp helped all of these services a lot. Yes, my whole world used to run on Heroku. That's how I did it back in the day. Brent says durable objects. Is that so that's Cloudflare durable objects. Sweet. So this is how from the Cloudflare side, you could create collaborative, fun multiplayer games. Craig, I bet you're having fun with some demos over at Cloudflare. I got to see more of these because this sounds fun. It's a special client. It's not any Cloudflare worker. It's a special kind of Cloudflare worker. Sweet. So yeah, lots of options for you if you're, he made a Fruit Ninja clone with this. That's so cool. So lots of options if you're trying to find some sort of a web server to use, or for hosting and running your kind of demos. I mean, we might need a Twilio Cloudflare collab stream to make a game. I'm down. Let's do it. I like that. We just got to come up with a game. There you go. Sweet. Okay, I'm gonna bring your screen back on stage, Elmer. Are you all good with the environmental variables? It's all hidden.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Thank you for double checking.
Sweet. Cool.
All right.
Okay, we got some.
So now we should be able to start testing. Let's see if we can make a phone call. And
before we go there, can you either share with me so what's happening? I just want to what's going on in the background. So Airtable is actually holding all of our info about the agent that we just created, and then it's using OpenAI. Cool.
So you can see here. Okay, let's see if I can.
That should just be Control Plus or Command Plus.
Yeah.
There we
go.
Okay.
All right. So this is the brain of the AI that we'll be using in order to hold the conversation with the person that's calling in. And as you can see here, the sample that they have is for a storefront called Owl Shoes. And no, I don't have any yet, but I do really want some very badly. And so I will have to, I'll have to get some of those at some point. And so we have the prompt here that has all the information that you need in order to get it going. It's pretty robust, and I think it's a very, very good starting point. You could take this and then modify it for your particular needs. There's also an example user profile here where it shows some kind of history and some information about the person. Like, for example, it will note that this person is a gold member and that they prefer to use email and SMS. And then also there is a order history so that you can ask the AI to make some suggestions based upon order history and whatnot. And so obviously, this stuff would probably be in a database that you'd be hosting somewhere. In this case, this is a very quick way to get started and see how the agent will behave. And then here we have an inventory of all the things that we're selling in our Owl store. So in my case, when I was modifying this for Girl Scout cookies, I would have all the different flavors here and what their price was. So that way, when a person would ask at the end what their total was, the AI agent would be able to do that. And then you can choose here from the drop down what model that you want to have. And note that Conversation Relay does support different models and different voices. You'll want to go to the documentation for that for the latest up-to-date information. And so in this case, these are good defaults. And then you could choose your transcription provider. So you can, in this case, Google or DeepGram. And then you could decide whether or not you want to be able to allow transitions between languages, or if you want to do a recording. I wasn't able to get this to work when I was doing my demo, but I'm very excited about it. I think that would be a really great addition. And I think that's it. And shout out to the Owl Shoes team that built this.
Yeah, there's a bunch of SEs that have been working on all this stuff, and it's super cool. Very similar to what we saw last week with Noah's building, but he used AI assistants. This is using straight conversation relay in this. And then, so all that is pulled out, I assume in some sort of configuration, and then we are going to run it and make a phone call. I sent a chat to you here, a private chat to you, Elmer, with the number. Oh, wait, no, let me send it right now. There you go. If you go to the private chat tab in our StreamYard window, you should be able to find that. And that's the phone number that you can call my dev phone. I hope the audio works. We're going to see and test it and see if it's actually going to work or not.
Okay.
But yeah.
Is it it's the 1844 number?
Yeah, that one.
Okay. And am I calling from?
Yeah, give me one moment before you call.
Okay.
But I'm just about ready.
Okay, awesome.
I just need to change how I'm sharing things. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think I'm ready for you to call.
All right.
Or do I need to call you? I don't know how it works.
2.
Wait, do I need to call you, or does the app call me?
You need to call the app. So the scenario.
Yeah. Give me the number and I'll put it in and call it.
Yes, the scenario is that you've received this phone number. I've given you a business card or something, and you're calling in and you're trying to make an order. Let me go ahead and give you the number here. I'm going to put it here.
The dev phone for this demo. Woo! I love
exciting.
The dev phone. I know. Cool.
Nice.
I got that number. So this is Elmer's. This is your Twilio number, right? I'm not about to call your private phone from here.
No, it's a Twilio demo number. Yes.
Sweet.
Thank you for checking.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2,
I think 3. Testing 1. We just got
2.
You guys all hearing that?
Testing 1.
Testing over and over.
Yes, I hear.
3. Testing
okay.
1.
Cool.
I think we want to hang up.
Yeah.
All right. So I think I need to redo the configuration there. 1 second. Let me open up my environment variables. I think I did not put the from number. No, I did not. My bad. Let me fix that real quick.
You also got to run the command to hook it up to the right webhook for your number too. I don't know if you did that or not.
That's right. Console. Let me double check. I think I did that part, but I may have not done it correctly. 1 second.
Yeah. So basically what just happened is I believe that this number was hooked up to a Twiml bin or something that just repeated testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3 over and over again. So we know the number works and you guys could hear it, I hope. And now we just got to switch it over so it actually points to the ngrok server that you have set up for this demo.
Yes. Let me refresh the app here.
The docs for dev phone are so great, so relatable. I love the dev phone. It changed how I do demos because I don't need to call myself anymore. I don't need to use my own phone number, which I still do if I'm doing something live and in person because I think there's something about the phone ringing. But for this, it's a phone ringing. It's the same thing. It's easier to share. Quick reminder, if anyone wants, we have Chef Brent and Toefrog, aka Chris, show on Thursdays where they're using AI to build a company. We're not sure what it's going to be called, but it's going to be around food. We had a lively chat last time involving a couple of contributors, including Robertables, who's here right now, going over all the amazing food puns that you could call it, such as Game of Scones. So we'll see what they land on for names. But yes, and then RJ, thank you so much for sharing the dev phone. I just use it on the CLI. So like when I need to run this, I literally just type in my terminal, I just type Twilio space dev phone dash phone, and it works. It's so nice.
Right.
I didn't want to spoil this one, but it's good. Wait, are you about to tell us something, Chef? A unique thing for your, I don't know where we're at, but yeah, there you go. RJ's giving you the command. You got everything you need. Sweet. Are we ready? I'm gonna call again.
One second.
Nice.
Okay. See if you can give it a try now, please. Thank you.
Hey, John. It's
Hi there.
Ollie from Owl Shoes. How can I help you today?
Yeah, I need a pair of shoes to go trail running.
Great choice. Trail running is always an adventure. Let's find something that fits your needs. Based on your preferences for high arch support, maximum cushioning, and breathability, I recommend the Trailmaster X1. It's a solid choice for trail running.
What if I actually want?
Would you like to go ahead?
What if I want low arch support and minimum cushioning? I'm trying to go barefoot shoe style here.
Got it. Going for a more minimalist, barefoot style is a bold choice. While we don't have a specific barefoot shoe in our current inventory, I can recommend something with lower arch support and minimal cushioning. Let me check what we can find for you.
Cool. Are you checking right now?
Did he actually
I don't know
go?
what
I'm
happened.
checking right. No worries, John. Just checking the options for you. Let's see what we can find in a more minimalist style. One moment, please.
I like these interstitial messages that kind of keep me on the hook, which it's going to hear me say now.
I'm glad to hear that. Keeping you in the loop is what I'm here for. Let's see. For a more minimalist feel, the Urban Explorer might work for you. It's got a more straightforward design and comes in black and gray. How does that sound?
That sounds great. Can you ship them to me?
Absolutely. I can get those shipped to you. The Urban Explorer in size 9 is available online. Would you like me to send it to your current location at Twilio headquarters in San Francisco?
Actually, no. I'm currently in Denver. I'm staying at a hotel here called the Halcyon. Would you be able to send it there?
Sure thing. I'll arrange for the Urban Explorer shoes to be sent to the Halcyon in Denver. Just to confirm, would you like to use your saved card ending in 9991
Of course.
for this purchase?
Oh, it hung up on me, but that was pretty cool. So a few things. So RJ, that wasn't actually using segment to set shoe preferences. So this is not AI assistant switch pulse segment. This was a conversation relay build. So this data was stored straight in that Airtable. So I don't know if, can you pull that Airtable back up, Elmer?
Yes.
I'll throw you back on stage here.
Here you go.
So in here,
You're talking about the
yeah,
disorders? Or?
exactly. So it basically, it replicates data that would, in theory, be coming out of any CDP. That would have things like, what do we have in inventory? What do we have there? So like this repost, I mean, you basically did no coding to get this up, which is super cool. But yeah, so basically this repo you could use, you could update, it would have all your different things and help you plug in whatever CDP you're using. I think it's kind of that, like we could also in theory build this with AI assistance pretty quickly. I think the hard part would be like getting a segment instance with the right data in it necessarily. But you could also build this with AI assistance if you're kind of building from scratch. But this is just a cool example of like how all these pieces fit together. So Elmer, did you modify this to make something for your kind of daughter's Girl Scout thing?
Yes. And so I just started down the line here, first going to the prompt. I took the prompt and threw it into O1 with my own guidance and information that we already had put together for our sale, and then had it come up with a new prompt and then replace that one. And kind of funny anecdote, when I did that, and I tried to switch between languages, I found that only the British language was actually able to pronounce caramel delights. The American accent would say caramel deletes. And so these are the kind of things that you have to be careful of. And it's because the way the Girl Scouts spell caramel delights is kind of off. And so it had a little bit of trouble there. But so that was the first step, is taking the prompt and then changing that into a prompt that fits your particular use case. And then I went into the user profile and just kind of refactor it based on my impressions of what a user profile for Girl Scout cookie buyings would be. Didn't need as much information as we have here. And then going into the orders, just putting in some fictitious orders of some Thin Mints and Caramel Delights in there to be able to see if the AI would be able to pull that context. And it was able to do that. And then inventory, I just switched out the inventory to a more simpler inventory that just had the different cookies that we offer. And then also with the ability to be able to donate, which is one of the next steps here, is to try and figure out how to get that pay TWIML to be able to work, to be able to accept payments directly through the phone.
Yeah, that's a new one. RJ, I don't know about SSML for conversation relay. I can ask that question and find out for you though. And you also said you were curious to see if there was a demo that showed you how to integrate segment data manually into a custom LLM outside of AI assistance. I don't know of that right now, but that is a really good question. And I'm going to take note of that. And maybe we'll build that demo later, because I know some people who could probably help with that. I think really the key there is, how do you get data out of segment in a different way? Which, I mean, they built a whole RAG pipeline, so there's definitely a way to do that. One of the things I will say that AI assistance does that you would have to build on your own beyond just accessing the data is there's actually I believe that they have LLM prompts that basically ask questions to. So they have this weird thing where I'm pretty sure this is how it works. Don't quote me on this. I don't want to get in trouble if I say it wrong, but I'm pretty sure that AI assistance basically has AI write a question for segment, and then another AI goes and pulls the data that would answer that question. So it's not exactly all the data is exposed, because that's just a really large context window. But this is a really great request, RJ. So we'll take a look at that. Cool.
Yes.
Sweet. I also think that the cool thing about this being an Airtable is, in theory, you could have another table that was your inventory, and you could be updating your inventory and placing orders and things like that, which is pretty cool.
Absolutely. And then the next step would be to add coordination for deliveries. So currently, that is a challenge, because I'm using, when I'm on the road, I'm using Pythonista to try to manage the text messaging going back and forth, and it works. I'm able to put in the phone number and send the message, and the issue is then when you have multiple, say you have 4 deliveries within a certain amount of time, it'd be great if you'd be able to schedule that, or have folks be able to call in and schedule their delivery. And so I'm thinking one way maybe to do that is through Airtable, having specific slots that are open, and exposing that as a tool to Twilio AI assistance. Yeah. And then that way can help coordinate.
The other cool thing about that with Twilio AI assistance is it's a pretty simple webhook to send data, especially if you're sending data into Airtable. It's really easy because you can kind of set it up in the back end. So if someone's booking something, you can kind of send it in that way. But getting data out's not hard either, which is really nice.
That's really cool.
Yeah. You know what I kind of want to do? So I have a few, we can do a little bit of choose your own adventure chat. So you can let us know. We could either walk through this repo together and talk more about how it's doing the things that it's doing, or we could do exactly what Elmer said that he did, which was use AI to generate a new prompt for a new version of this tool, or we could try building an AI assistant. So I think those are like 3 different things that we could do really quick in kind of the next little while to do that. I don't know if anybody has any opinions or there's something that someone would like to do. But yeah, I'll open that up to the chat and see what y'all want to do. What does chat want? And now everyone's quiet. Perfect. I need some like Jeopardy music. Do 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 do. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I don't know if I want to do it today, but one thing that I kind of want to do is get transcripts of all of our A/B testing episodes and then feed those into some sort of a knowledge base and have create an AI chat bot accessible through a bunch of different ways, being like, hey, I want to learn more about this, or like, hey, have you guys ever talked about X, Y, or Z? And then have it suggest episodes to go watch. I think that could be fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see how.
RJ, I already got an answer for you. SSML Conversation Relay does not support SSML. So, yeah. Curious to have AI prompt enhanced through multiple AI assistants. Tell me more about what you're thinking there, RJ, and we'll see if that's something we can do today. So is the whole idea there kind of taking that prompt that we have, throwing it back into OpenAI and like refactoring it based on what we kind of where we want it to go for a new thing? Sounds very agentic, says Chef Brent. It does. But yeah, I'm curious to see how you did that. Would you be open to, let's do it this way, Elmer. I just told you what I want to build. Let's throw that into OpenAI with that other prompt and see if we can get it to write a new prompt that we think would work really well for we'll call it like the A/B testing, the A/B testing bot or something like that, like the suggester. Should we try that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you want to do that in AI assistant?
I want to do that however you want to do it.
Okay. Yeah, let's do AI assistance. Let's see if we
Okay.
can pull that off.
So RJ is suggesting refractor, but then use AI to evaluate it and suggest any other improvements. I feel like the evaluation piece is probably outside the scope of where we're going to go right now. I know some people have been working on that. I think that's honestly one of the biggest problems with AI right now is there's so much building. There's not a lot of good evaluation steps. So that's a good call out of something that would be fun to work on.
Yeah.
You also told me that, Elmer, recently, and we'll take a minute break from the screen share because I want to talk about another use case that you use really quick. You were doing some research and you had to kind of like write up like a report. And so I believe you used you used the deep research from OpenAI, but then you fed that into another LLM and asked it to verify.
Yes. So the first step was to write out the actual information by hand and kind of brainstorm the ideas and put all the pieces together, and then take that handwritten information and then provide it to the deep research, the O1 model. And then after it finishes, it provides you with a lot of different citations. And of course, it's super important to verify all of those. And so I took a 2-step approach. One was first using the 4.0 model with the regular search to go through and verify not only the content of the particular citation, but did it make sense in context inside of the letter. And then finally, after doing that first pass, take it into Google's Gemini Flash 2.0 model and have it also do another check and make sure that the information is actually not only cited correct, but used in the right context towards the purpose that we were shooting for.
I love that you used it every step of the way to check your work. And obviously, like, you need to also be looking through the stuff and making sure that it's right. Like, there's a lot of steps, but you hopefully by, even going outside of just one provider, going outside and moving into the Google landscape, you can get more kind of value there from it. But yeah, I would. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say it made verifying a lot faster. So like if you go to the actual codes, for example, if you're looking at something legal, a lot of that is very difficult to grok very quickly. And so having that assistance can help you zoom into the specific place that's relevant. And I think that saves a tremendous amount of time. It's definitely not perfect.
Mhm.
I mean, you'll get about 80 to 90% there, but that 80 to 90% ends up being a lot. And so, I think you have to do a combination of them. You should double check using the LLMs, but of course you can't forget the human in the loop. And also if you can figure out some way to automate and add some kind of fixed scripting, like for example, we use tools like Veil to help double check rules inside of our documentation. And we use that in tandem with both AI and human in the loop, you get some remarkable results. And in my opinion, record-breaking time is pretty incredible.
Yeah, that's super cool. Let's I'm gonna pull you back up and let's maybe share your browser window and or whatever window you're gonna use AI in, and I wanna like go through your work process for how you update your how you update a prompt using AI. Like what do you do in there?
Okay. So if we're just going to use chat directly,
Yeah.
I will go into the playground here and I'll give you a little bit of background on what we're using here. This is the OpenAI playground, which allows you to quickly and rapidly prototype. And I have actually used some prompt inception on this particular preset here. Basically, I asked it what would be the prompt that would mimic you using the chatgpt.com version of yourself. And this was the result that it came up with. So I'm not sure how good it is, and it should probably be updated.
Yeah.
We could do a little prompt
Can you do a
inception
control
on that.
plus once or twice too?
Oh, yes, there we go. Control plus.
Or command plus.
There we go.
Sweet. That's better.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you.
So you basically said, hey OpenAI, what would it be a prompt for ChatGPT that you could use to emulate yourself?
Yes. And then that is interesting because I actually had to put in its documentation as well because it didn't have the latest up-to-date information. That problem is partially solved now because it can search the internet itself.
Right.
But before we had that option, we would have to put in the documentation to do that. And it seems to work pretty well. It's hard to say, I haven't gone deep down the eval path trying to figure out how to properly A/B test this stuff. But I think the initial results have been pretty good. And so in this case, what we'll do is we're going to create an assistant that is going to be able to take in a prompt or an idea for a prompt, and then allow us to craft a better prompt for itself or for a particular model that is best for the type of question that we're going to ask. Sweet. So for example, if we're coding, we have another preset that is tuned to O3 Mini, as I've heard through the grapevine that one is better at coding. So I'm experimenting with that. But I've just heard that the Google DeepMind, not the DeepMind, the 2.0 is also performing very well. So we can have it cross-check each other. And of course, Claude always does a great job.
Yeah, if I'm being honest, it's so hard to keep up what people think is the best because it feels like every 2 weeks there's a new model from somebody else.
Yes.
Cool.
So in this case,
let's go ahead and let's do that. Yeah.
So we're going to be building an A/B testing suggester bot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, maybe even we'll call it like the A/B testing companion bot. Yeah.
Building a companion bot for A/B testing prompts. You will take a prompt that we provide, and based on your interpretation. Help us select the correct model and propose a prompt to take best advantage of that model.
So is this in chat, or are we are we creating an assistant for this one?
Let's do that. Let's create an assistant.
Okay.
Let's go through that process. So we're going to go here and.
Oh, we're gonna create an AI assistant in Twilio. Cool. I thought we were talking about OpenAI assistant.
Oh, we could. Either way works. Here. You mean?
Yeah. Let's create the prompt and then we'll move it into assistants when we're ready.
Okay. Yep. Okay. We will be moving this prompt into an assistant, and yeah, I think we'll start there and see what happens. And maybe it might ask this person
here.
Yes, getting the party started. One of the ways that I like to do this is through the advanced voice chat. So like if you may be out on a walk or something, or just throw out an idea, and then usually there'll be some good questions coming back, and then you'll have a conversation. And then at the end, I like to say, now, summarize all what we've talked about and give me the next step. And maybe if I have 30 minutes, say, what can I do in the next 30 minutes in order to move this forward? So we're going to go ahead and see what it says here.
Okay.
All right. What do we have? Okay.
Send me your prompt.
All right. Provide the initial prompt. Okay. I'll read through the prompt and identify the key objectives. Okay. And then we're going to do a model recommendation and decide if we need more advanced reasoning model like GPT-4. Okay, this is not correct. Really, it would be an O1 or something. Yeah, or O3 would be ideal. And then after that, it's going to say that we need a prompt refinement. Let me know if you have the first prompt ready, and we'll go step by step. So it's incepting itself.
Yeah.
Okay. The first prompt is.
So this is the prompt around what this bot's going to do.
Yes.
Yeah. So why don't I'll talk through it and then we can put that in.
Yes, please.
So my thoughts there is it's going to be a companion to A/B testing, which is a weekly streaming show. And based on transcripts provided, if somebody asks what, if somebody would tell us something they want to learn about, and we would suggest an episode that would tell them that they could go watch. So it's kind of like an episode suggester. Yeah. And now I'm going to have to go build this.
Yes. We can suggest a episode based on given transcripts of previous episodes.
Yeah.
Okay. This would be a companion assistant for weekly stream shows. The audience will suggest what they want to learn about during the show, and we could use this companion assistant to suggest an episode based on.
Yeah.
Does that sound right?
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
All right. Let's see what we get there. That'll be cool. So yes, with assistants and also with the Twilio AI assistants, you can easily store knowledge in there. It's one of the things that makes using the Twilio AI assistants very nice, is you don't have to deal with all the RAG stuff. You can, all that stuff is abstracted away, and should get you to functioning prototype as fast as possible. And then from there, on off to production.
Yeah, I love it. You know what, RJ, good question. Would we filter for
Yes.
Robertables trolling? Robertables control the AI as much as he wants. That's fine. We're all good there. That's what the AI is for. It's never going to get too angry. Might not know he's trolling, but that's okay. It's the joy of the AI. He can call up the AI. He doesn't have to call me. Sweet.
Awesome.
Nice. Yeah, I might have to go and actually build this out at some point because I feel like this would be fun. I'm just like thinking through in my head what I would do for the assistant because I would have like Knowledge would have a brief about the show and maybe the like maybe bios for us, and then I would have it kind of update with new shows every week. So maybe I could set, I think you can set, I don't know, I'd have to like figure out where to store transcripts and how to get those to update, but that would be there. I don't know what Project Pipey is, Andrew, but sure. I think it could be a nice 5 to 10 minute demo. I do think it might be, I think if I had the transcripts and knowledge sources ready, it would be a nice 5 to 10 minute demo. The reason I can't build it right now is I don't have the transcripts ready. But I think I think if I had those in a knowledge source, that would be the way to do that. Or maybe it's even just a summary of every episode that I continuously add to. But I think that could be a really cool 5 to 10 minute demo. I'm gonna think about that and maybe work on that. When I have time. No, it doesn't happen.
Yes.
Cool. So what's it talking to us about here?
All right, let's see what we have. It's a step-by-step approach. All right. So we have our weekly streaming shows and they want to learn. And then it's recommending GPT-4 with a fallback to GPT 3.5. That should be good for cost savings.
Mm-hmm.
When you run your test, you could run these side by side and compare. I think it's picking up on the A/B testing title as A/B testing the.
You know what?
Which is really cool. I like it.
Should.
But yeah, that's cool. All right, and then recommended prompt for GPT-4 is a customized plug and play prompt here. You have access.
You are a helpful recommendation assistant for a weekly streaming show. You have access to transcripts from all past episodes. Your task is to identify and recommend episodes that match the user's interests. You will also provide brief summaries to help the user decide whether to watch those episodes. Here's something that I would do differently than this. And this is my preference, which is I don't think I would ask this prompt to provide a summary. I think I would have a summary pre-built for each episode, because then if I wanted to, I would still have AI write the summary, but I would go and edit it and make sure that it's accurate. And then I don't know why these are the kind of things I'd rather just do it once than have the AI do it every time. Because at some point it's going to get it wrong and I can get it right. Oh, there, you're just adding it. Yeah. Hello, Frack. Hello, Frackberg, you made it. We're using AI to help us write prompts for AI, in case you're just joining us.
Yes.
This is AIception.
All right. And then this is a sample user message where we would put the user wants to learn about blank. Based on the transcripts below, please do the following. So we probably would want to maybe have an interface where you just put in the topic and then it injects it to this prompt.
Yeah,
that's probably what we would inject here.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense, because I would probably do this as either I would do this in AI assistance, and I would try to connect it up to channels. I don't know how you would connect assistants to. It'd be cool if we could pipe it into Stream Chat. Brent, throwing that to you for your next for one of your streams in the future, one of your developer lenses. Could you pipe Stream Chat through an AI assistant, similar to how we have our Twilio bot If someone says, "Hey, Twilio bot," it does something. It'd be really cool if we had another bot that we could pipe it into. I don't know how that one works. I know that that's a Frosty Tools thing, but I don't know if we could get that working with AI assistants. That'd be a pretty cool channel to rig up. Yeah. So what's it telling us after we gave it that, or we're giving it additional feedback?
Yes, I'm capturing the feedback as we go. Let's see. And then so it's asking us to paste the excerpts of summaries here, but I think we're going to store those somewhere.
Yeah.
As probably in the knowledge section of the Twilio AI systems.
Yeah.
Transcripts will be stored.
Yeah. It would be nice, RJ, to have this hooked into the Discord chat. That'd be a really cool tool. I don't know how easy it is to hook a bot into Discord or what that is. Those are all things that sound cool. I'm sure there's a way. I don't know what it is. But I know it's pretty easy to add a few different channels, and we have a web chat channel built into, not quite built into, but we basically have an example of how you would embed a web chat channel into something for AI assistants. So I bet that would work too.
That's cool.
Yeah. See if I can pull that up. So, okay. We got feedback. Cool. I like that you're asking AI how to build with AI. That's just like something I would have never thought to do. But it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it works very well if you think of it as kind of like a coaching assistant, and just kind of talk to it as if it was a person. For me, it's kind of weird and very difficult to put myself in that mind set. But I think practicing with the voice, what do they call it? The advanced voice mode has been helpful for that, because I've been pleasantly surprised with how well it's able to interpret the things that I'm asking it. Of course, like you've seen here, it'll go off on different tangents that are maybe not specifically what you're wanting to do. Sometimes they're pleasantly surprising and useful. But I find that if, as I'm talking to it, just continue shaping the conversation to get to a closer start of where you want to be. And then finally, when it's time to build, then we'll see what's the fastest thing that we can do in whatever amount of time that we have left, and then go from there.
Yeah. Well, before we read that, I'm just going to share something on my side really quick. This is the docs page for AI assistants, specifically core components channels. And here it tells you how to set up AI assistants with Twilio conversations, SMS and webhooks, voice, and then website with React. And there's actually built a React SDK from the alpha team. And then you set it up, and then you add to your UI, and it shows you how to do that, which is pretty cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah. But I'm sure there's a way with this to like do it. I don't know how you build some of the bots for this stuff, but there's got to be a way.
What I would do is take that example code, and then also add that to the LLM as kind of the example of what success looks like, and then have it adapt it to our conversation, our use case that we're currently building as a first step. This is what I was doing with the tutorial. First, starting with the tutorial, making sure that you can actually get it to work and that you can modify it, but then taking that and then putting it into the LLM assistant, saying, here's some working code, and here's the use case that I have. I need you to help me adjust this to my particular specification. And of course, it's really good to spend that upfront time to make a really nice document-driven development spec, so that it'll help shape how the resulting code will be written.
Yeah, I think when you make that spec, yeah, that does make a lot of sense. And again, you're like using AI. I'm gonna be honest here. I'm kind of lazy when it comes to AI, and I don't use it that much because I don't want to figure out how. But I love your mentality of like, just ask AI how to use it. and then use it.
Yes. 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 Ask it to how do you use yourself? It's wonderful.
Yeah. Brent said there is an API for AI assistance. Yes, I haven't used that specifically. Oh, API reference. You're right. There's an API, so you can just plug straight into APIs. But this is oh, he's working on it now. We've got 15, 20 minutes left in the stream. So Brent, I'm expecting answers, and I'm kidding. That's a good question. Does the AI know about Twilio AI assistance, or will it use the internet for that? My hunch is it would use the internet for that. And you could actually tell it to go look at certain places. I was also wondering, because I'm looking at this and it keeps suggesting 3.5 or 4. There's almost a part of me that wonders if like every version only knows about the past versions. I don't know how these work. Yeah.
Yes, and this is why you have to add in the context that's missing. So to do this correctly, what you probably want to do is gather up the documentation for the latest models that you're interested in, maybe the models page, the documentation page on the OpenAI website, and then plug that in. I like using Google Notebook LLM for that sort of thing too, because it's fairly easy to work with, and it's pretty good with synthesizing a lot of different data sources. But your mileage may vary on that, but you'd want to collect all of the relevant data, and then also use AI to take that data and shape it in a form that's best for what you're trying to build. Like if you know that you're going to be building in Node or Python, that might sway how you want to do it. If you're teaching and you want this to be in a Jupyter notebook, for example, that might inform how you want to do it as well. Given that we want to likely do this in using the Twilio AI Assistance API, we want to make sure that all that documentation, the freshest documentation, I would get the most latest documentation and put that in there. And that's why, to do this and keep it fresh does require some extra work at this point, because like, for example, when you're using this O1 model, at least this model that I'm using here doesn't have access to searching the internet. What I'd have to do is add a function to be able to do that. And of course, that's what I would also ask AI to do as well, as say, hey, help me create a function to go retrieve this web page. The other day, I had it create a simple script for me that would go into a GitHub repo and extract out the relevant source code and put it in one file, kind of formatted in a markdown format, to add that as context. And so that's useful if you want to grok a larger code base. You can also use GitHub Copilot for those sorts of things as well. It just depends how custom do you want it to be, how fast you're moving. Are you building a demo, or are you looking for a long-term production ready thing? All of these things are questions that you should capture and make sure when you're talking to the AI that you give those parameters, because then it'll help steer you in the right direction in terms of what set of tools. Also, that's another important thing, is telling the AI what tools that you have available. For example, for my productivity system, I like to use OmniFocus and DevonThink. And so I wanted to know that, so that when I'm asking a question, it'll help me figure out how to implement those things in my current system. And I've furthermore told it that I prefer to use automation. And so now when I ask it a question, it will give me AppleScript in order to do the various programmable things I'd like to do with those apps.
Sweet.
And so I found that to be a bit helpful.
Sorry, what did you just say you were using for that? Because it sounds like whatever you're using has like a memory and context of what you've asked it before.
Yes. So with the Chat GPT kind of consumer model, it has the ability to add memory. And I think we've also added that to AI assistants. And basically the idea is there's a additional context that gets loaded on each call, or you can specify on like if you create your own GPTs, then you can have a more custom version for a particular use case, like one for traveling. I've started to set them up for like specific events. and then you just load it up with all the relevant information. So you can ask it questions like, when is this talk happening on Tuesday? And then boom, get your answer, that sort of way.
Yeah.
So that's what I think about it, is like, this is an assistant and you're trying to power it up with some specific knowledge, usually very well defined and scoped, and then expand from there as necessary. I found the other way, where you try to stuff as much as possible into one assistant, is it could be workable depending upon the use case, but it's not as efficient as creating these kind of targeted versions. But then, of course, at that point, you need to have a conductor to decide. It's like when in the Twilio AI assistants, when you assign different tools to it, where, like, for example, if you have one tool that attaches to your task manager and one tool that attaches to your calendar, you need to explain to the AI when to use each tool.
Right.
Yes. And so, I think it's really dependent upon the use case. So I really like to spend some time up front and fleshing out with AI, working with you to kind of determine which is going to be the best solution. And it's also another reason why I like using the deep search model, or Perplexity, or something similar, that actually goes out to the web and gets the current information.
Yeah.
But we all know that some stuff is blocked to different AI bots. And so putting in that extra legwork of pulling that data for yourself is often useful. Right. I've been playing with Operator a little bit to see if it can speed some of that. Like, say you need to go to like a specific website and click around a little bit and search for particular information. A lot of times it is faster just to do that yourself, but not if you're doing a bunch of other things. Maybe you have several operators gathering data from different sources, and then you collect that data and then refactor it for your particular use case. And that's useful for things like when you're dealing with legal issues, and you have issues at the local level, at the state level, at the federal level, and you want to research each one of those. And so dispatch an operator to each website and say, this is the thing that I'm trying to discover, help me research it. And usually it'll point you down the right path, but you still have to put in your own legwork there. Still need a strong human in the loop at this point. I don't know how long that's true.
I was literally listening to a podcast this morning saying that by NLW, who has a great AI podcast, the AI Daily Brief. And one of the things he was saying, he was on somebody else's podcast, was that he thinks that, especially for regulated places, there's going to be human in the loop way longer than it's necessary, both because we have very low tolerance for AI getting something wrong, and because it helps the transition between like AI doing more and making sure that there's still people doing knowledge work. I thought that was pretty cool. Well, you got a shout out from RJ. Shout out to the work Elmer and team did on the OpenAI spec. Did you work on the OpenAI spec, Elmer?
Oh, yes. Thank you for that. It was definitely a team effort, and really appreciate the folks that help get those specs updated. Currently still, obviously, a work in progress. We would love to hear your feedback on how we can improve. But I'm glad you mentioned the Open API specs, because I feel like this is going to be a key way for us to make sure that when we're building, we have the latest information and kind of really flex the power of the AI to choose the best way to implement something. For example, say a company creates an Open API spec, but they don't have a Rust library. But the thing that you're building, the best way to build it is with Rust. Well, given the API spec and the AI's knowledge, you can create something fairly quickly that works well. So it's really important to make sure that your Open API spec is accurate and useful. There was one piece that has been missing in Open API spec that maybe they fixed it by now, but the idea of showing workflows of like, you need to do this use case, you need to run these 3 API calls together in order to make it happen. I mean, you can obviously do that yourself, but I believe they were talking about adding that as part of the spec. So that should be helpful. it's kind of like the concept of this LLMs.text thing, where you provide a special index for the agents who are searching for information so that they can more quickly provide a good answer. And so I think OpenAPI does that for coding. And thank you for the shout out. I hope it's useful. I hope you can find some cool stuff to build out of it.
Yeah. Shout out to our viewers over on YouTube. Hi, we are here. We see you. Yeah. RJ actually made a joke saying that I read the changelog and he reads the OAI's nightlies. And then he pointed to where that link was.
Nice.
I got a few more questions for you, Elmer, and these are a little deeper. So dig deep. I know. Get scared. So the first question is, why do you build?
Why do I build?
Yeah, what inspires you to keep building things?
I think I just generally like to be helpful, and fortunately, I've been given the gift to be able to build, and so I'm just trying to make sure that I use it in a way that helps people. And that's part of the conflict that I have with the AI stuff, because I know that it takes a lot of power and a lot of resources, and but I think zooming out long term, I think we'll be able to make it work in a way that's sustainable. And my goal is to help steer in that direction and help use these tools in ways that are ultimately towards the benefit of helping folks. Building things is just that feeling of just creating things, going back to simple things like paper mache or something like that, and then graduating to Legos and whatnot, to now being able to create software. It feels like a very lucky thing to be able to do. And also, when we talk about building, I'm kind of in the context of software development here, but when we think about building beyond that, it's like building experiences. And I think this is the first time in our history we can build these amazing experiences in record time. Like when we're talking about being able to call a number and talk to an agent that can actually understand us and get an order right. That's incredible to me. And I think we're just obviously just getting started. I know everyone is saying that, but it's so true. As you said, with listening to the podcast this morning, it's like every time you listen to one of these, it's like new opportunities, short answer is just want to be helpful, and building is my way of doing that.
That's beautiful. I really like that answer. And then second question here. Is there a product, either recent or from a long time ago, that really, really inspired you? If you have the product that most inspired you, or something that most inspired you, that's great. If it's something smaller and more recent, that's good too. But yeah, what's a product or something that really inspired you, or product or tech? Yeah.
Well, keeping in the that's a tough one. Keeping in the AI theme and education, I really loved the TED talk that Salman Khan gave about Khanmigo and Khan Academy, and this vision of making sure that every child has access to a personalized education. I think that's an incredible vision, and I feel like we're closer to that than we ever were. It raises all sorts of interesting questions, like what are the fundamentals that we need to know now, especially in this collaborative world with these AI agents, and how do we make sure that our kids have access to that knowledge and that they're being properly trained to be efficient with these tools and these new assistants, and then kind of like transitioning to education and to real world activities. I love what Apple has done with the Vision Pro. I think it's an exceptional glimpse into what the future can be with augmented reality and virtual reality combined. They're just getting started with their version, but from the experience that I had from Google Glass, and then now using that and the Meta Quest and seeing what's possible, and then watching Ready Player One also, that kind of got me really excited about the future of what we'll be able to deliver to folks that in the past had no access to. I was remembering how excited I was getting a set of encyclopedias and how that unlocked so much to be able to see photos from around the world, knowledge from around the world. And then that graduated to Wikipedia, having access to that at your fingertips. And now I could just ask an AI and get a good answer. I mean, for someone who loves to learn, it's a miraculous time to be in, but also very overwhelming. It feels like I want to relearn everything simultaneously.
That makes a lot of sense, and that's such a great answer. And then we'll, you know what? We've got a user submitted question, so we're gonna, or not user, viewer submitted question. Elmer, what advice or techniques do you have for staying up to date with new technologies while not getting lost in the zeitgeist of the new thing all the time?
That is a good question. I think there must be some sort of balance. I don't like to be totally disconnected. I know some folks are really good at that, and they can happily stay in deep work mode almost indefinitely. But I feel like as a person trying to be a responsible citizen, I need to have at least a general idea of what's going on. And in terms of my own skills, I want to make sure that I'm using the skills that I have in the best way possible. And that's a hard balance, because that's where perfectionism can knock you down. If you can get an infinite loop asking over and over again for the best way to do something, you can research it to death. But I think that's one of the things that these agents have helped me out with a lot, because if it knows that that's an issue and that I need a more succinct answer or something that's executable within a certain amount of time, I can say that and get a good response. Still, there's only 24 hours in a day. So, it's really going to be up to your taste how much you're willing to spend on the new fun stuff. One of the things I did ask the agent was, how can I be an exceptional developer educator? And it did say that you should be spending at least 30 minutes to an hour learning new stuff. And I can't say I do that religiously in a deliberate way, but I think by the nature of what we do, we're constantly evolving and learning. But that dedicated practice, I'd love to do more of. Like a quick example is, for example, the tools that I use for something like Visual Studio Code. I think it would make sense to do a deep dive and just really learn that tool really well. I mean, when you've seen someone who's like an expert at using that tool, it's really magical, and that takes time in practice.
I really like that viewpoint of, like, to be a good educator, you have to be a good learner. That's a really cool way of putting it. And then this is a related question, but what advice would you have for a new builder? And I'm going to make this even more poignant. Your daughter right now is going to school and studying computer science. So, like, when she was starting out, for example, like, what advice were you giving her about, like, hey, here's your journey in coding. Let me give you this little bit of advice to start.
Yes. First of all, making something that is interesting to the person, like trying to figure out ways to tie in their natural passions to the technology, because to me the technology is a means to that end. You're trying to solve some sort of use case, some sort of challenge that you're trying to do. And for example, recently she was trying to learn about Big O notation, and I don't know about you, but that is way back in my past. And she was able to use Google LLM to create a practice curriculum that involved integrating Disney characters and stories. And that worked for her. She was able to then remember those things because it was tailored to her particular interests. And again, it goes back to this idea of like personalized education. I think finding out how someone learns, like if they're hands-on or they prefer to read, prefer to listen, figure that stuff out too, and then try to figure out how can you create custom experiences to help you learn the thing that you're trying to learn. And then just, not giving up, just practicing every day. It's kind of like going to the gym. I could show you where the gym is, I could take you there, but you got to do the work, and that's the key, is just to keep grinding at it, do the things that frighten you, push yourself to new limits, keep growing the brain, and keep building. There's nothing like the experience, like going through this process of trying to create something with AI. You may get frustrated, and you may, like in the beginning, say, oh, this is not exactly what I wanted, and you may just want to table it and not do it. But I would encourage you to keep going until you get the result that you need. I have yet to find a situation where, after continuing a conversation, I didn't get the right kind of direction of where I need to go. You may need to do some additional legwork, but just keep trying. That's the best way to learn this stuff. Thank you for the opportunity to be able to share some of this stuff. I really appreciate it.
If I'm summarizing your answer there, it's find something that excites you and interests you, figure out how you like to learn best, and then keep at it. Just don't stop, be persistent. Those are really great pieces of advice. Elmer, thank you so much for joining us. It was fun to see you walk through that demo. It was fun to hear your perspectives. You are, anyone who's used Twilio has come into contact with your work because you're so fundamental. You and your whole team are just create the experience that makes Twilio work. So thank you, Elmer. Thank you, the whole Docs team, for this. And it was such a pleasure having you. And then we'll be back next week. Both of us, both Bianca and I, will be here next week at 2 p.m. Eastern, Twilio Devs, Twitch on Tuesdays. Also, check out the new Developer Lens show with Brent and Chris on Thursdays. And then, again, so proud. I'm going to roll the trailer here in a moment again for Twilio Update. And please go check that out on YouTube. I'll throw it in chat right now. I'm really proud of that coming out. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you all for being a part of the chat. And we'll see you here next week on A/B testing. I'm Alex, and welcome to Twilio Update, your bi-weekly look at what's new with Twilio and the awesome things being created with our tech. Every 2 weeks, we'll bring you the latest from the Twilio ecosystem, fresh releases, features you need to know about, and deep dives into new products. But this isn't just about updates and demos. It's about the builders, the people creating amazing things with Twilio's technology.
Look, the most important thing is to be curious.
SMS allows people to forget that there is a UI between us.
They want somebody to understand where they're coming from and sort of work at their level.
They don't have a smartphone, but there's some patients that just want to speak on the phone.
This is the place that I need to be.
And to be sure you never get FOMO, we'll keep you in the loop on what's coming next, from events to releases to community projects. Join us every other week for Twilio Update. We can't wait to see what you build next.